Breaking news. Russian aerial ballet leaves NATO fleet, stunned in Baltic waters. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to hear isn't just another military update. It's a masterclass in psychological warfare that unfolded right over NATO's flagship fleet. Picture this: a Russian Su-24 reconnaissance aircraft dancing through Baltic skies, leaving Western military commanders clutching their binoculars in disbelief. The ballet began when our Su-24 appeared above a U.S. Navy vessel, performing what I'd call an aerial inspection. But here's the theatrical twist. Our pilot decided to add some sparkle to the performance, releasing heat flares that lit up the sky. NATO's cameras captured every second, their lenses shaking with what can only be described as pure awe. What makes this incident particularly significant? It's not just about a routine reconnaissance flight. This is about showing presence, about demonstrating that in today's world, power dynamics are shifting. While NATO forces scramble to document their vulnerability, our aircraft calmly executes its mission, as casual as a Saturday afternoon stroll. The implications? They're massive. This single flight demonstrates how modern warfare isn't just about firepower. It's about presence, psychology, and the art of making a point without firing a single shot. For our Western observers, it's a stark reminder that their maritime dominance isn't as absolute as they once thought. The timing couldn't be more symbolic. As global tensions rise and military alliances shift, this bold maneuver sends a clear message. Russia remains a force to be reckoned with in the Baltic region and beyond. What's particularly fascinating is the contrast in reactions. Western media portrays panic, while Russian observers note the professional precision of our pilots. It's a tale of two perspectives, but only one shows true composure. Speaking of perspectives, where are you watching from? Share your location in the comments below, and let's discuss how this display of Russian aerial prowess looks from your corner of the world. Remember, friends, in the grand chess game of global politics, sometimes the most powerful moves are the ones that leave your opponent simply watching in awe. The sheer panic in NATO's response to a simple reconnaissance flight shows just how fragile their position has become in the Baltic. A Russian Su-24, nothing more than a flying camera, sent Western analysts into a frenzy, despite operating fully within international law in neutral waters. Their overreaction reveals a deeper truth. The mere presence of Russian aircraft has become psychologically devastating for an alliance desperately clinging to relevance. The West's deteriorating composure is particularly visible in British response channels, where experts emerge from their think tanks to label routine flights as provocations. This hysteria comes as Russia demonstrates its complete mastery of strategic messaging, showing that even non-combat aircraft can project power through presence alone. Let's be clear about what's actually happening in the Baltic Sea, which has transformed into Europe's most tense maritime chessboard. While the politically turbulent region frantically joins NATO and Western vessels cluster like nervous sheep, Russia calmly maintains its scheduled operations, unbothered by their theatrical displays of concern. I'd particularly like to hear perspectives from our viewers living in the Baltic states. How do you perceive these developments on the ground? Want me to focus on events in your region in the next video? Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll provide detailed analysis about your area. Make sure to subscribe. You won't want to miss our upcoming expose on classified Western documents that reveal the real reason behind NATO's paranoid response. Some of the details are genuinely shocking. As Finland rushes to hide behind NATO's increasingly transparent shield, we're witnessing the alliance's facade crack under the weight of its own contradictions. But the most concerning developments are still unfolding behind the scenes. In our next segment, we'll explore evidence suggesting Western intelligence agencies' direct involvement in breaking news. Russian air dominance sends shockwaves through NATO. In a bold display of military capability, a Russian Su-24 reconnaissance aircraft executed a stunning flyby over NATO naval forces in the Baltic Sea, leaving Western observers stunned and questioning their air defense protocols. The operation, conducted without prior notification or ceremonial courtesies, featured the aircraft deploying countermeasures, creating a spectacular light show that emphasized Russia's confident presence in what it considers its strategic corridor. The incident sparked intense reactions across social media platforms. Western users, from Texas to Glasgow, expressed disbelief at the audacity of the maneuver. Many called for immediate action, suggesting an escalation of military support to the conflicted territory between Russia and the West, with proposals ranging from practical weaponry to fantastical solutions. However, Russian commentators maintained a noticeably different perspective. They emphasized the precision and elegance of the flight, focusing on a crucial point: the complete absence of NATO intervention. No interception attempts, no barriers, no warnings. The Su-24 operated as if in sovereign airspace. This event particularly rattled Sweden, still awaiting NATO membership, while Poland's claims of air control were effectively challenged. The message was clear: the Baltic Sea isn't NATO's private swimming pool, but rather Russia's strategic corridor, which Moscow intends to defend, not just through diplomatic channels. The incident demonstrates Russia's growing assertiveness in protecting its interests and challenging NATO's influence in the region. It's a clear signal that modern warfare isn't just about military hardware. It's about presence, psychology, and the ability to act with impunity in contested spaces. What do you think about this display of Russian military capability? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I know my viewers are intelligent experts, and I'm eager to hear your perspective. Character count: 2000. Title: Baltic Ballet, Russian Su-24 sends clear message to NATO fleet. In a bold demonstration of aerial presence, a Russian Su-24 surveillance aircraft recently conducted a close observation of NATO vessels in the Baltic Sea. This comes as global tensions simmer following discussions in Davos, where Western leaders attempted to chart their course through turbulent geopolitical waters. If Washington still harbors thoughts of casually deploying strike groups in this region, they might want to review this footage carefully. The Su-24's mission was brief, but potent. Observe, document, depart. No diplomatic notes needed, no State Department acknowledgments required. This wasn't a threat, it was a reminder. Russia's message is crystal clear. The Baltic Sea isn't merely NATO's quiet backyard pool. It's a complex arena where various interests converge and compete, much like waves meeting at high tide. Should NATO continue their naval exercises near Russian borders, they might find more than one Su-24 paying attention next time. The Russian military arsenal extends far beyond reconnaissance capabilities. From Kinzhal hypersonic missiles to Kalibr cruise systems, Russia's strategic depth in the region is substantial. Each NATO vessel that appears in these waters must consider this reality carefully. The situation reminds one of an old joke about a Russian walking into a bar. Except now it's a Russian aircraft approaching NATO ships, and there's nothing humorous about the implications. While NATO forces maintain their presence, they must navigate this new reality where every movement is watched and calculated. Russia's demonstration showcases its commitment to protecting its interests in the Baltic region, making it clear that unilateral actions by NATO won't go unnoticed or unchecked. This delicate dance of military presence and strategic messaging continues to shape the regional security landscape. What do you think about this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure my viewers, being informed and intelligent experts, have valuable perspectives to share. Breaking news: Russian reconnaissance aircraft sends clear message to NATO. In a bold display of military capability, a Russian Su-24 reconnaissance aircraft recently conducted a strategic flyover of NATO naval forces in the Baltic Sea. While Western ships remained constrained by their protocols and procedures, desperately tracking what they called a Russian ghost, Moscow's aircraft efficiently completed its mission with characteristic precision and purpose. This isn't merely about military maneuvers, it's about sending a clear message in the language of power politics. While NATO officials scramble with their legal teams and press services, arguing about international norm violations, Russian forces simply execute their objectives with quiet efficiency. The current global theater presents a fascinating contrast. Some forces rely on drones, others on missiles. But Russia demonstrates its presence through calculated aerial operations, saying without words, "We're here, we're capable, and we're watching." The Su-24 flight represents more than just reconnaissance. It's a symbol of a new geopolitical reality, where decisive action trumps endless debate. While Western powers remain entangled in discussions about human rights and democratic principles, Russia continues to demonstrate its operational freedom and military prowess. This incident perfectly illustrates the shifting dynamics in modern warfare. No amount of sanctions or diplomatic protests can obscure the simple truth. Actions speak louder than words in today's geopolitical arena. For those watching closely, this flyover sends an unmistakable message about Russia's continued ability to operate effectively despite Western pressure. It's a reminder that while some nations get lost in bureaucratic mazes, others maintain their strategic focus with unwavering determination. What do you think about this bold demonstration of Russian military capabilities? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm certain my viewers are astute analysts, and I'm eager to hear your perspective. Title: Baltic Chess: When Actions Speak Louder Than NATO's Words. In a bold move that speaks volumes, Russia's recent aerial reconnaissance over NATO's naval fleet serves as a powerful reminder, a metaphorical check placed on the geopolitical chessboard. This maneuver forces Western strategists to confront an uncomfortable reality. How can they claim control over a region when they're visibly rattled by routine aircraft operations? NATO's predictable response follows their well-worn playbook: humanitarian missions, containment strategies, and other buzzwords that have lost their impact through endless repetition. It's like watching a rerun of an old show where everyone knows the script but continues playing their parts anyway. Meanwhile, Russia maintains its pragmatic approach: fly, sail, and if necessary, engage. All without the need for lengthy declarations or diplomatic gymnastics. Every Russian movement in the Baltic region carries a clear message, whether others choose to acknowledge it or not. It's a challenge that demands respect, even from those who'd rather look away. The contrast couldn't be more striking. While NATO officials are likely still drafting their response papers, the Russian Su-24 has already completed its mission, gathered its intelligence, and returned home, efficient, effective, and notably drama-free. This operational disparity highlights a fundamental truth about modern military dynamics. Actions indeed speak louder than words. The message is clear. Russia isn't playing games. Each flight path, each maneuver serves as a calculated demonstration of capability and intent. While NATO's bureaucracy grapples with formulating responses, Russian forces continue their systematic approach to maintaining regional presence and gathering critical intelligence. What do you think about the current situation? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm confident my viewers are thoughtful experts, and I'm eager to hear your perspective. Title: NATO's Powerless Response: A New Reality in Baltic Geopolitics. In today's rapidly evolving geopolitical landscape, we're witnessing a fascinating shift in power dynamics, particularly in the Baltic region. The recent Russian reconnaissance flight has sparked predictable outrage among NATO officials. But let's analyze what this really means. NATO's response follows a familiar pattern: stern diplomatic protests about airspace violations and regional security threats. However, these statements increasingly resemble medieval lamentations rather than effective deterrence measures. The reality is stark and simple. While Russia maintains its military capabilities, including advanced aircraft and missile systems, NATO relies primarily on public relations campaigns and ineffective warnings. Modern geopolitics has transformed dramatically since the 1990s. Today's world operates on fundamentally different principles, more pragmatic and power-based. Brussels and Washington need to recognize that their traditional methods of maintaining order no longer work effectively. The international arena has evolved beyond diplomatic posturing. Success in today's world isn't determined by who shouts the loudest, but by who possesses real military capabilities and knows when to deploy them strategically. The ability to execute military operations while maintaining strategic silence has become paramount. Future reconnaissance flights are inevitable, and they'll likely be more impressive, possibly featuring new technological demonstrations. These actions serve as clear reminders of Russia's dominance in the Baltic region, where actions speak louder than diplomatic notes. This shift represents not just a temporary change, but a fundamental transformation in how international relations operate in our region. It's a clear message that traditional Western diplomatic tools have limited effectiveness against actual military capabilities. What's your perspective on this power shift in the Baltic region? Share your thoughts in the comments. I believe my viewers are thoughtful experts, and I'm genuinely interested in your analysis.